Are you at home, but you're saying, you know what, this isn't the worst thing in the world. You know, there was the Holocaust. So you're like, okay, maybe I'm not feeling that small. So you tune into Coffee Talk with Robyn Schall. And then you're like, wow, I've not seen the outdoors in a couple of days. I just keep staring at this one wall. And that's why I tuned into Coffee Talk with Robyn Schall. Were you not on the basketball team because you were 4'11"? Actually, you did try out. And on the first day of auditions, you had to run around the gym for 15 minutes and you couldn't do it, so you left and you didn't come back to tryouts because you're not very tall. Well, then tune in to Coffee Talk with Robyn Schall. Are you a girl and you're like, why do guys always adjust themselves and scratch their balls? Well, then it's time to tune in to Coffee Talk with Robyn Schall. Hello, welcome to Coffee Talk with Robyn Schall. Today's guest, a very talented actress and producer, Alana Kresh. Plus a brand new news correspondent, not Georgette. We couldn't get her as this is, busy times for the news and she couldn't make it. So she had her partner stop in, Robyn Schall. And of course, we have check-in with Mama Schall. Now, please welcome the host of Coffee Talk with Robyn Schall, Robyn. Oh, wait. She's beautiful. She's talented. She's put on about 7 pounds. Please give it up for your host, Robyn Schall. Thank you. Oh, let's not waste the outfit. Let's give you the whole view. Thank you. So oh, now my head's cut off. Jesus Christ. Okay, so my head's still cut off. Just whatever. Okay. So, welcome to Coffee Talk with Robyn Schall. I'm your host, Robyn Schall. We are officially starting to run out of clean clothing, so I have decided we are going to title this week Business Attire. And so for the rest of the week, we will wear my 4 business outfits that I own. This is one of them. And then next week, we're going to wear the 5 fancy dresses I own. And then the following week, we'll move on to sexy club outfits. And then hopefully at that point, my washer and dryer that I bought on Amazon that won't fit in this apartment will arrive and we'll be able to do some laundry. Now, Richie told me that there was a lot of funny news stories, or not new funny, but news stories that he wanted to discuss. So I decided for today, let's bring on a brand new news correspondent. He's never delivered the news before in his life. I don't know the stories he's going to tell us. So let's all just pray that he did a good job. Please welcome my correspondent, Robyn Schall.
Hello, Robyn.
Hello.
Everyone.
Hello. Hi, Richard. How are you doing this evening?
Doing very well. I'm wonderful this evening.
So what are the news stories around the world?
All right. So in Brussels, Belgium, geologists and seismologists have said that the world is actually gone quiet with vibrations because...
Wait, hold on. I have to turn you up. They can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
All right. Scream.
All right. So, in Brussels, Belgium, there has been reports that the world has actually gotten less vibration because of people self-isolating. So the world has actually gotten kind of quiet.
What do you mean less vibration?
Because people aren't going outside walking or doing.
So the world used to vibrate?
Yeah, because people walk.
So I should have just been putting my crotch on the sidewalk this whole time? Sorry, inappropriate. He's my brother. He wasn't my target audience. You guys were. Okay. All right. Any other follow up to that? Wait, why was there how'd they figure this out?
I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Okay. All right. What's our next news story from around the world?
All right, so in Australia, because again, people are trying to entertain themselves because of this whole self-isolation, there has been a new Facebook group called "Put Your Bins Out in Your Ball Gown." So people are posting pictures of them throwing out garbage, but in full gown. So that's it.
Okay. What? So they're just taking their garbage out in ball gowns?
Yes, correct. And it's a huge Facebook group where 1,000 people are.
Are you in this Facebook group? This is Richie's porn. He finds women on Facebook that dress up, and he's that creeper oh, you guys look so pretty. Why don't you turn around for me? All right, thank you. All right, any other news stories from around the world?
Yes, actually, very interesting that you actually mentioned. I heard you in your intro about you running in the gym. For your basketball team.
Yes.
You were on?
Yes. Well, I wasn't on. I went to the first day of tryouts, and they made us run part of the tryout, so I didn't return the next day.
Oh, well, maybe this man from Britain, his name, James Campbell, might have been perfect because he just ran a marathon during this quarantine. In his backyard, he went back and forth over 7,000 times to equal 26 miles.
Wait, in his backyard he ran 26 miles?
Back and forth 7,000 times.
Oh my God.
26 miles.
Yeah, why? Here's the thing.
In the bathroom and I'm exhausted.
I was going to say that'd be if I was you know what, I'm going to do something, running would not be the thing. I would do okay guys, let's I would do a pie eating contest or something by myself.
Yeah.
Wait, we should do that here.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Wait, do you want to do it against each other? You'll have it on your screen, I'll have it on my screen, and we'll do a pie eating contest. Actually, I have a third iPad. I could get one more person. I'll get Regina or Emma. Emma would do it.
I'm down for that.
And we'll do a pie eating contest. Oh my God, yes. All right, next week. Stay tuned. All right, Richie, give us one last news story.
Yes, one last news story. Actually, in Texas, there was a tractor.
Wait, how old was the guy who ran the 26 miles in his backyard?
It was actually, ironically that you asked, it was his 32nd birthday.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Good question.
Thank you.
All right, and finally, I'm sorry to end on a sad note. In Texas, a tractor trailer actually caught on fire on the interstate. It was filled to the brim with toilet paper. Now, again, the sad news that all the toilet paper did.
Wait, are people dead?
No, the driver was fine.
Oh, everyone's fine?
Everyone's fine.
Richie, can you start with that? Richie, next time can you start with you know how mommy always when you pick up the phone, you have to say everything's good? All right, start the news story over. You're stressing us out.
Right. Okay, start over.
Yeah.
So in Brussels, seismologists...
No. Start with Richard. Richard. Richard.
Yeah.
This is last story, please. Restart.
Okay. So, it might sound like bad news, but it's actually good news. There was a tractor trailer caught on fire in Texas. There was no traffic because there was no one else.
And no one was hurt.
No one was hurt. Everyone was fine, but all the toilet paper was destroyed.
No!
Sorry. And my name is Richie Schall.
No, Richard. This is a professional. You say Richard, not Richie.
Okay. I am Richard Schall. Thank you. And this is the news that Robyn really needs to know.
And have a good night, evening.
And have a good night. Evening.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Bye, everyone.
Wow, what a great news segment we have check in with the news around the world. So I have an idea. Well, we have a package that we need to open, but I wanted to run something by you guys. As you can see, I've been taking this talk show very seriously. We've been stepping it up, you know. Our guests are fabulous. My outfits are going to be fabulous. I want to try for tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, 3 different settings, and then over the weekend we'll vote on what's our favorite. Well, before settings, because this is our original setting. Because it's Coffee Talk, I want to try what it would look like if our backdrop was in the kitchen. I want to try what our backdrop would be like if it was on the couch, and one if there was a backdrop. So we're going to try different settings over the next 3 days, so make sure you tune in. And then on Saturday, we'll do a vote of what's everyone's favorite backdrop for a Coffee Talk. All right, now it's time for packages and shit. So let's go into the other room. It's going to be set up a little different as I'm wearing a skirt, and I don't want you guys looking up my hoo-ha, even though I think that would be great for ratings. Okay. There we go. Oh, no, I forgot to close the bathroom. Don't look. Don't look. Okay. All right. So this package comes to us from Franklin. Bulbs. Yeah, it's really bright. So... really can't see the fireplace. How are we gonna do this? Hold on. Wait, I didn't figure this out yet. Oh, I wonder if I sit down, you probably won't be able to see my crotch, right? All right, let me know if you could see my crotch. I did put on underwear for you guys. Probably should clean this whole thing, huh? Yeah, we'll get to it. All right, so, oh, damn it, I forgot the ukulele. Jesus, I hate skirts. I also haven't shaved my legs in about, I don't know, 2 months, so please don't zoom in on on replay. Thank you. Okay, so we have a package that came from Franklin, all the way from San Diego. It was supposed to get here last Friday, but he said the shipping, it came to New York, wouldn't allow it in New York, then sent it to Illinois, and finally came back to New York. I think we tell you if we could. Oh, if you could see my crotch. Is it a ring? Guys, if this is the ring, oh my God. Can you imagine? Oh my God, that'd be so good for ratings if he proposed to me on Coffee Talk. All right, well, let's hope he's that smart. All right, we've got packages and shit, packages and shit. Ooh, ah, yeah, ooh, ah, yeah. Packages and shit, packages and shit. La, 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 la. Packages and shit, packages and shit. Ooh, ah, yeah, ooh, ah, yeah. We've got packages. Kim was ready. And shit. Yeah. All right, I'm already out of breath. You know what the problem is? I wake up around like 8 and I have my first cup of coffee, and then right before we start, I make my second cup, and I think 2 cups of coffee may be too much. Just maybe. All right, let's tilt this down so you can see. Okay. All right, or maybe not. All right, so let's start. I'm really excited about today's guest. You all are slackers. Oh, with the shit? Yeah. Also, you know what I've realized? We have a lot of people watching from Facebook or wherever who don't even know that there's people commenting. They can't even read the comments. They're like, who are you talking to? I'm like, there's comments. So if you're watching, you really should figure out, because the heart sluts are very funny and their comments always add. And also if you're watching and you're scared to comment, I know we've always had this problem, but this is a very, very friendly group. So if you just write in the comments and introduce yourself, you'll have new friends, I promise. Oh my God. Oh, look, he wrote wash your hands on the box. Ooh. Push open in app from Facebook. What, to be able to see the comments? Oh my God, this is so difficult. Jesus, Frank. That box may kill you. I mean, probably. I took the Clorox wipes and I wiped it down last night, and then I did that again just now before we went live. Okay. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, you know what? He said there was something in the box for HPV, my character. I have a feeling this is it. Okay. He's like, there was something in the box for HPV, and I said, how will I know? And he's like, you will just know. So I think that is it. All right, I'm just gonna keep it up on me, and then I will hold up everything that he... Okay, so let's see what is in here. Okay, we have liquids, which one should definitely not be sending through the mail. Okay. Okay. This is pure 70% alcohol for your spray bottle. Dilute half water, half alcohol. Oh, this is like to clean my phones and stuff. H2O and alcohol. Hand sanitizer. Oh, good job, Franklin. So we have more hand sanitizer and phone cleaning spray, which we've been out of phone cleaning spray. Thank you. Oh, and I'm assuming this is for Papa Schall as he walks around with a can of Lysol. Guys, do you remember pre-corona when my gifts were so funny? All right, he sent a little flower. He sent saline nasal gel. Oh, for my bloody noses. Franklin. He knows me so well. What's this? Apple cider vinegar gummies. Okay. 100 flexible straws for our coffee talk. Sorry for those of you who want me to save the government. Save the environment, but I still drink plastic straws. All right, we got ginger cashews. He's definitely just now throwing shit that's in his plate. Oh my goodness, look at this. Marry this man. Disinfectant wipes. Fresh air scent. Oh, Franklin, you are the best. You are the best, Franklin. And then we have Kleenex wet wipes germ remover. Clearly, this guy is really scared I'm going to die here in New York. Oh, what a... We have a card. I don't know if I'm allowed to read it on camera. All right, should we just read it? Should we read it anyway? I mean, he knew I was opening this on camera. He should have wrote, don't open on camera, right? If this was not meant for camera. Okay. Take this off. Okay, let's read the note. All right. Oh my God, I fucking love cleaning supplies right now. All right. Oops, I just ripped it. Okay. Okay. Can you read that? Okay, it starts with, I think you're neat, Franklin. Remember I was like nervous I can't read this on camera? Look, I wrote more than 3 words. Oh, okay, he did write more. Okay, should we read it? All right. Robyn, here are some items to help keep you safe during this insane crisis. I threw some other items in so I could legally declare I was sending you sweets. I love you. Please be responsible and wash your hands frequently. Does anyone else get love notes that tell you to wash your hands? I can't wait to see you after this is over. I love you with all my heart. Always, Franklin. I'm nervous you're never going to get this package. And then he just wrote words. Pretty, lovely, smile, beautiful, kind-hearted, funny, gorgeous, sexy, talented. Thank you, Franklin. Although he's been so busy, he hasn't been watching Cawfee Talk. But we'll let him know we got that. Oh my God, I just touched my eyes. All right, let's wash our hands. Let's wash our hands before we touch our face anymore. Oh my God, a package, and I just touched my face. Jesus. Hold on, let's quickly. Look at this eye makeup. Look at this eye makeup. The one thing that came out of Corona is I've really gotten to practice my eye makeup. Oh, look, you can see the back of my suit. You know, it's so funny, like, the different love packages that come depending on what's going on in the world. Okay. All right, hands are washed. You're fine. The stuff inside was out for 2 weeks, and virus is dead already. I'm not actually nervous about the inside. I'm more nervous about the outside. I'm actually not even nervous about, not to be a downer, but the amount of cases in my building right now of Corona is bad. Is bad. So except to like get my packages and throw out the garbage, and like when I need to get some fresh air, I'm trying not to leave. But they did make it, at this point, it is now mandatory in my building. If you step out of your apartment, you have to wear a mask. We got an email yesterday. So what is good is like, because I was more nervous about how many sick people there are right now in my building, but we got an email that it is from your door to, and whether you're going to the basement to throw out the garbage or or to get fresh air, you have to wear a mask in my building, which I actually am happy about, because every day I hear about more bad news in my building, and I'm like, yeesh. Okay. But anyway, thank you, Franklin, for my package and shit. All right, guys, I'm so excited for today's guest. Do you see I'm sweating? I'm like, I don't think business attire suits me. It's too heavy. Okay, guys, I'm so excited for today's guest. Let's get her on. I don't know if I've ever been live with her, but if you've been to some of the not Heart Slut shows, my big headlining shows here in the city, you've probably met her, because she sometimes or usually comes to the meetups after. You need to wash your mask every time. So I don't have a washer and dryer, but I do have, every time I cut the shirt, I was able to make two or four masks from each shirt. So I have about 8 masks right now. I really only leave the apartment once a day, if that. So, I don't know. We have to come up with a system. I've just been using a new one every time, and I just keep throwing it in my little washer. Guys, look how big this laundry pile is getting. It's so big. But guys, we have a washer and dryer coming. It's supposed to come anytime between April 9th and April 20th. We are running out of clothes. Okay, let's call in our guest. Okay. Hold on, let's plug you in so we don't die mid-guest. Okay. Guys, I am so excited for today's guest. We went to high school together. She is one of the funniest actresses I've ever worked with, and she is a off-Broadway producer. Please welcome Alana Crash.
Hi. What's up?
You look so pretty.
You look so pretty.
Today I'm running out of clothes because I don't have a washer and dryer, so we've gone into business attire.
Oh, well, you're nice. That's lovely.
And next week is going to be ball gowns. Everyone's giving you a round of applause. Okay.
Fantastic.
So first, let me give you a little background. Some of you actually may have met her at the album recording. We had an after party downstairs, so some of you may have met her there. She went to the first show, so during the second show, her and my friend Jen were drinking, so I don't know if you remember any of my followers. But we went to high school together, and we did all the plays together. We were both comedic actresses, so we kind of bonded really fast, right?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, we did.
Especially because our freshman year, there was a play called Arsenic and Old Lace, and
Right.
you were studying abroad.
I was. That's right.
So
yeah.
she got to audition like separately, and she ended up getting the
Right.
lead. I was a freshman, and I ended up getting a really big part. And let me tell you, people were not happy about this. About either of us. You had it a little easier than I did.
Yeah, I did. I had it a little bit easier, right, because there was a special concession made for me and one other person who was going to be on an exchange during the auditions. And I'm like, pretty sure the director vowed to never do that ever again.
because she got so much shit because her and the other girl ended up getting the leads. But you guys were perfect for it. Like,
Thank you.
that's what was like insane. People are like, oh, they were away. They didn't really audition. But it's like, okay, first off, we were all 12. Okay. Like, this was not a Broadway show. This was Hewlett High School. But they take their shows, they're so serious.
It's really serious. And let me tell everybody there that Robyn was fantastic in the part that she played. She was so good, and like physically and just as always, she gives everything whenever she.
Thank you.
So
I say to this day, that was one of my favorite plays I've ever done.
Ever. Do you know my mom talks about it? Like,
Really?
my mom, like when I like to think about like projects to produce now and stuff like that, like my mom will be like, "What about that show you did?"
Okay, they want to know what parts we played. So you played.
I played Abby Brewster.
She was one of the two old ladies, and
Right.
I played Dr. Einstein. So if you don't know the play, it's about. Explain the play.
So Arsenic and Old Lace, there is a movie if you want to watch it, with Cary Grant.
But I thought her play was funnier than the movie.
100%, 100%, and it's one of those things where like you need an audience for it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of movement and there's a lot of like silliness. So, okay, so the premise of the play is there's these two elderly women who are sisters, and like at first glance they seem like, oh, they're not so threatened or whatever, but it turns out that they are poisoning men who come over to their house and killing them. And
It's a dark comedy. It's a dark.
Like, this sounds scarier than it is. And like they poison them with elderberry wine, and they have three. So that's like one of the plots. They keep just like killing people as they come.
And so
over
she
there.
was one of the old ladies.
Right. I was one of the old ladies, and then
Jalen says she loves the movie.
Oh yeah. Oh, awesome. It's a great movie. It's really good. And then she has, they have three nephews. One who's like this dashing theater critic who Cary Grant plays, Mortimer. And then there's Jonathan, who's like kind of a serial killer-ish. And then there's Teddy, who thinks he's Teddy Roosevelt.
So now the guy who's the serial killer nephew,
Correct.
he has a sidekick called Dr. Einstein, who's like his little sidekick, like servant, and that's who I played.
Right. Correct. And like zany and like, like just really.
Oh, Mr. Carlos played Dr. Einstein, and his brother was Teddy in the play.
Get out of here.
Oh, I'm so surprised so many people know it. This is great, great, great.
Oh my God.
Okay, yeah.
Should we like do lines?
We probably could whip this out. So we did. So we've been in a lot of shows together. We were in that show. We were in Orphan Train together, which was like the weirdest show ever. It was about these orphans.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Yes, exactly.
You're
Yeah,
back in the, what year was that supposed to be?
That was supposed to be. Oh no, I forgot. I'm gonna say the early 1900s, but I could be off.
And so what they used to do is they used to put orphans on a train and then like stop places and people would take the kids, right?
Right. Yeah,
And so
exactly.
in the play, there's like 10 different orphan stories. So you were a pock picker, right? Pickpocketer, whatever it's called.
Pickpocket, yeah.
Lucky, right? Wasn't
Lucky,
it?
lucky. That's right.
Do you remember what my character was?
You were Pigeen, and Pigeen was an Irish stowaway.
So I had an Irish, first off, my Long Island accent was 10 times worse back then. So just keep that in mind.
She did a good job with the Irish accent, I have to tell you. She's selling herself short.
The opening line was, "Me name is Pigeen. I'm Irish. Maybe you can tell by me brogue." That was the first line.
No, she did it more Irish. I'm not letting her get away with it. Anyway, go ahead.
And I had to do a jig. So then we did that together. We were in Chorus Line together. Pippin. Would you say Chorus Line was your favorite role you've ever played? You were so good in that.
Oh, thank you. I loved the Chorus Line. I was lucky. I loved a Chorus Line, and also, you know what I loved was the last show I ever did at the school, which was Much Ado About Nothing, and I got to
Oh,
play it.
yes.
So, like, you're not gonna ask for like a better,
Wait,
role
who
to
was
play
I? I don't
here.
even remember who I played in that.
Dogberry, right? Because Dogberry like the scene of the crazy cops.
Yeah.
We roll into two. It was two people who played it, and it was you.
And David Lieberman,
No, it wasn't David. No, David Langley was Claudio.
Oh, Jessica Kerner.
Right, it was you, Kerner, and Amy. And,
Oh,
like,
okay.
The three of you did
Yes.
like that. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So anyway, we got really close during high school. Oh, even more importantly, because I think this is really interesting. Alana, you can say, was indirectly responsible for my comedy career because, so our school did this thing called Cabaret Night, where there was a music group, a comedy group, and a band and a dancing group. And the comedy group, and it was to raise money for kids with cancer, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah, we donated. Where did we donate it to?
It was through Memorial Sloan Kettering, but it was specifically, unfortunately, there was a student at the high school that had passed away from cancer, like before we were students, and it was in her name. Her parents started Cabaret Night.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was a sophomore, and Alana was a senior, and she was like in charge of it. And she was like, oh, you should audition. And I was, first of all, because it was mostly for juniors and seniors got it.
Right,
you know,
right.
But there was a lack of funny people in our school.
There always is.
But you had to audition by doing stand-up.
Yeah.
And I had never done stand-up because we were, 15? So I went to a coffee house to practice once. Jen came with me. And then I auditioned for you guys with stand-up. And I brought like a little, it was this squishy thing that after you said a joke, after I said a joke, I would press it and it would start laughing because I had a feeling no one would laugh. So anyway, that was the start of my comedy career.
And wait, two things. First of all, I never knew that you had practiced it at a coffee house with Jen.
At the Beanery, we went to the Beanery. It was an open mic night. It was the first, I did stand up. It went pretty well. Then I auditioned. Then about a month later, I went back and I did it again and bombed. And my parents were there, my aunt and uncle were there, bombed. Never did it again until I was 25.
Right.
Alana's done stand up because she's a great writer. So I kind of pushed her. I was like, you should try stand up. She took the Caroline's class.
I know.
And what'd you think?
So I took the Caroline's class because Robyn kept being like, you have to stand up. And I gave to her apparently what was the same argument that she would give to her father when her father would encourage her. And I'd be like, I'm not a stand-up comedian. It's not my thing. It doesn't make sense to me. She's like, you have to do it. So I did. So I did the Caroline's stand-up, and and it was amazing, the experience, because you learn how to write a type 5, and you get to perform at Caroline's Comedy Club. So, and the teacher is so good.
Yeah. Linda Smith, yeah.
Yeah. So I did get to do it, and it was really cool. And I do like to write a lot, and
this is why I think she's a great stand-up. I know it's so hard. I really do think it's the hardest for a stand-up. But you are a performer and a writer, and I think those two. Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm funny. I should do stand-up." Being funny has nothing to do with stand-up comedy. Like it has to be with, can you deliver jokes, and are you a good writer? Like that's. So that's why I'm like, I still think it's something that, like, if you wanted to do. But the thing is, stand-up's, like, such a hard thing to do as a career that unless, like, someone really wants to do it, I no longer encourage it. I'm like, do anything else. I want to ask you, because I think this is so fascinating. She produced, starred in, and you didn't direct, though, right?
No, I'm not. I'm like a bad. I'm not a good director. I just need the universe to know that. Go ahead. Yeah.
You have to have a lot of personality. Yeah, or at least because there are some comics who just stand there like this. That's their personality, like their persona. But she produced an off-Broadway show, and it all started with, we went to go see my friend Regina, who we've had on as a guest. Wait, do you have the volume up?
I do. Why is it low?
No, I hear me back. I hear me talking. So we went to see a play, and like she'd want to produce for a while, and we saw Regina's play, and then that got your brain going.
Yes, I had already started to think about it, but I didn't know exactly what was going to be happening. But yes,
Right.
correct.
And
yeah.
then why don't you tell people like what the steps are to like producing a play? Because I think like
Sure.
I don't even know what the steps are to produce an off-Broadway show.
So, two things. Number one is that I want everybody to know that when Robyn and I went to this play in Pennsylvania, that literally Robyn and I are both, wonderful, fun people to be around, but we both are notorious for being like last minute, like, we're not going to meet up.
We
We're,
cancel on each other all the time. So it really is a miracle when we finally hang out.
Right. So out of the blue, it was a Saturday, and Robyn texted me. I don't know, it must have been like 2 PM, and she's like, "I'm going to Bucks County, Pennsylvania tomorrow to see my friends play in Pennsylvania. Any chance you want to come and like we'll drive together?" And I was like, "Okay."
By the way, if we had planned this 2 weeks earlier, it wouldn't have happened. It only happened because we did it the day before.
Right. Okay. So.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds good. We should do that." But if she was like, "Do you want to get a drink next week?" It'd be absolutely, and we'd like both.
Never happened.
So anyway. So the steps to producing in general. Look, it's different for everyone. But in general, the black and white, not very sexy part of it is basically that it's about finding a venue where you're going to do, the show.
Right.
And finding what play you're going to do. So if it's an original work, great. Then you have the original work. You're all set. But if there is a play that you want to do, even if it's something like Arsenic and Old Lace, or if it's something like whatever, anything basically that was produced after 1924, there's a whole legal thing that like it goes into the public domain after 1924.
And so then you could do any of it?
Right. So I'm sorry. So anything written before 1924 is in the public domain. So Shakespeare, Chekhov, stuff like that you could do. You don't have to pay a cent.
Is that why so many high schools and colleges do Shakespeare, because they don't have to pay?
Yes. Well, in general, high school and colleges a lot of times don't have to pay. I'm not actually. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think that in general they tend not to really have to pay for the rights to stuff because they are a school and they're teaching essentially. And like the actors aren't being paid, and
right.
They're not trying to get a box office going. I mean, it usually supports the school, but they're not trying to get whatever. But like producers aren't making money off of it, so yeah, but that is part of the reason. But also it's a lot of the reason why you see a lot of Chekhov and Shakespeare done, because you don't have to pay for it. And
right.
So, in their classics, people are like, yeah, why not? Okay, fine. So basically you have to figure out what play you want to do, and then you apply for the rights. And you do that through websites like Samuel French or Dramatist Play Service, DPS. If you've ever picked up a script.
Is it hard to get the rights? So like once you picked the play and you reached out to them, was it yes right away or no? You had to...
So actually I was going to say Dramatist Play Service. Everybody's like, I don't know what that is. And like, yes, if you've ever seen a script that looks like this, that has a weird L but not, that's DPS, it's Dramatist Place, and that's like half of them. So anyway, it is, that depends on where you are. If you're in New York, okay.
Yeah.
If you're in New York, it is extraordinarily hard.
Really?
Because writers, if a writer is alive or has somebody who's very involved in their estate, if they've passed away,
yeah,
they're very, very, very protective about who gets to do their work.
Oh, because they don't want like some shitty version of it.
Right, and not only that, even not some shitty version, but like their, critics in general show up in New York, any kind of critic. And
and could rip it apart.
Right, you could Google the play, and it could be one critic's opinion, or just maybe one influential critic's opinion, and people, didn't like it, and that's out there forever now on the internet, and they have to live through all this, and it's like a whole thing. So anyway, long story short, we wound up producing a play called Gemini, which Gemini was a very, very big hit in the 1970s. If anybody out there was around in the 70s, there was a very famous commercial with these lines, I'm not hungry, I'll just pick, or take human bites was a very big line from the show. So people knew that commercial. It was a hugely popular play. But Gemini was the fifth show I applied for.
No, I didn't know that.
That is correct. So like people would be like, "Oh, well, that was kind of an interesting show. Like, why'd you do that?" And I was like, "Well, I'll tell
Like
you."
no one else would let us do their play.
That's absolutely correct. That for the people that, and I mean, even to the point where I feel like I'm boring everybody, but like even to the point where like there was a play that has really not been done at all. It was a rarer play by a very well-known playwright, and I said, "Oh, some of his other plays get done. I bet you I'll get the rights to this. And such an interesting play, and great." And I didn't get the rights, and I emailed the playwright because he teaches at a very prestigious university, so his email is just in the universe.
Right.
So I emailed him to basically ask him why, or like I was very nice about it and said, we're going to do it justice, and you could oversee some things. Like I was trying, and he basically said to me, I appreciate that you appreciate the play so much, but it had such a difficult run on Broadway years ago. He just didn't want it revisited, I think.
It's so funny because you would think like people want their work out there and performed. Like people don't know that like it is so, I talk about this with Regina all the time. Like there is so many hiccups. Like you think producing a play, like the hardest part is just like, getting an audience. There are so many things that happen before the first day of even auditions or rehearsals, that make it so just so hard. So after the show was up and running,
right,
what was like looking back? Because I personally know how much work she put into it. It was a long time. What was one of the writers requires a fee to perform their plays. Is that true? Do some writers require a fee?
Yes, that's also it. Is that you pay per performance of the show?
Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah.
So the rights, yes, in paper is usually like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for this many shows. This is how much I'm selling the tickets for. But it's also how much am I going to pay the writer or the writer's estate.
We were overseas, I believe, in Europe or the Middle East during it, so I didn't get to see it. But I heard through the grapevine how great it was. When you look back on it, like, do you have like one thing that sticks out of like, that was the best moment?
Oh my God, what a good question. I think the best moment for me was the collaboration with the cast that we got, because I was also in it, and so I was in the room when we were casting, and I loved our cast, and I loved the chemistry between us, and I just loved everybody was so committed and so excited and so into their characters. So to me that was the highlight.
Was it hard balancing being the producer and being a cast member? Like did you have to like change your hat, and like at any point was there like lines blurred?
So there were never. I think that there weren't lines blurred. I'm saying that you're welcome to find somebody that works for the show and see if they felt differently. I tried very, very hard to keep it separate, and what's wonderful is, you learn the good things about the experience, but you also learn the not so good things about the experience. I tried very hard to keep certain things separate, and it was difficult sometimes to jump between producer and actor, especially, if I disagreed with something that was happening in the process, but I also wanted people to have creative freedom, whether they were on stage or off stage, whether they were behind the scenes or whatever. So sometimes that was kind of difficult, but I always was good at just being like, I want everybody to just do their thing.
Right. I always say that a good producer or director hires the talent and lets them, like they hired the person saying, all right, we know you can do this role, do it. Right. We have a question coming in. We have two questions. Can a writer shut your show down if they don't like how you present it?
Oh, that's so interesting. So I don't know if they can shut it. Actually, they probably could shut it down. What's their name?
Jalen.
Hi, Jalen. So they can shut it down, or they can halt production, I believe. But
wow.
That's only usually, though, that couldn't be like if somebody saw your show and they just didn't like it, if they just thought it was a bad version of it, they can't.
It would have to be like, oh, you're changing the lines. Correct. Or you're,
Correct. Correct. You have to be very, very loyal to the lines. You have to be so loyal.
Yeah. See, now that's very strict in plays. A lot of times when you're doing movies and television, sometimes the writers are like, make this your own. With plays, it's very rarely they say, make this your own.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Has any writer been unhappy with your work? Have you ever had this happen to you? So in this case, did the writers... Oh, wait, no, these writers were dead?
The writer, when we did the off-Broadway production, that writer had passed away. So,
okay.
However, I invited people, and I had spoken to people beforehand who worked personally with the writer. I really wanted, like, his whole history.
That's so great, yeah.
It was great, and I got to really talk to some wonderful, interesting people in the theater industry. But one of them had worked on a particular version on the play with him. So to answer your question, no, nobody came forward and said, I don't like the X, Y, and Z, but somebody who had worked with it did come and see our show. I hope he liked it. He didn't say that he didn't. So that would be the closest thing, I guess, but he seemed to think it was authentic, so that was good.
That's great. I'm so sad I didn't see it. But the next one, I will shut down the military before I miss the next one. So before I go, there's 2 quick stories I want to share with everyone. One people have already heard, but we'll share it again. The other one is, so both these stories are celebrity centric. One time, we went to go see the movie Chicago. No, not the movie, Broadway show. And BB Newirth was not in it, but like was coming out of the backstage or something. Do you remember you chased her down the street?
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
I forgot about that. Right before you were talking, I was like, oh, I want to bring up the story I told you about earlier. But then I was like, oh my God, Alana chased BB Newirth down the street.
I did, that's right.
Wait, was it... So we were just standing there waiting. The show was over or started, but she was not in the show at the time because the BB Newirth has done the show. And all of a sudden she walks out of the stage door and you or Jen or someone was like, is that BB Newirth? And she started walking. And I think you guys ran to go chase her. What did you say to her when you caught up?
I actually didn't say anything. I think I wound up racing after her, but not talking to her. That was, which sounds right because I'm very if I meet a celebrity I love, I sort of want to give them their space.
Which goes into the next story of how you and I are different. Okay, so Alana and I go out for lunch at the Smith, right? And some of you may have already heard this story, but now we have Alana's version that she could chime in. So I was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, and as I go, I drop my sunglasses. I pick them up, but while I go to pick them up, I see the biggest foot I'd ever seen in my life. And I was like, whose foot does this belong to? And I look up, and it's Michael Strahan. So I go back to Alana. I'm like, Alana, that's Michael Strahan. So then he gets up to leave, and then I was like, let's go follow him. So I think we threw the money down. I didn't even know how much the check was. And Alana was fine. Again, she doesn't mind chasing people. She just doesn't want to talk to them.
That's correct. Right.
Because you have a respect thing, which I lack that part of my brain. So we're at the red light. I go, Mr. Strahan, because he stops at the red light. We stop at the red light. So I go, Mr. Strahan, and he turns. I give him my little business card. I was like, I'm a comic. If you ever need a comic, and then. Then the light turns green and we get nervous, so we just start walking away from him, which then he goes, Robyn, and then I turn around because he has my business card, and he's like, nice to meet you, or something like that, and I was like, you're handsome, because I didn't know what to say. I was nervous, and Alana didn't help me at all. She just stood there.
Well, afterward, I think I said something you were like, you're very handsome, and I go, very handsome, and I was like, this is my Greek chorus over here.
I totally forgot about that. But now I remember she's like, you're very handsome. Just agreeing with me. So then we're panicked. So we just keep walking, but he has long legs. So he's walking behind us. So we got really nervous. We just went into the first bar we could find, which was Atlantic Grill, right?
Atlanta? Yeah, it was Atlantic Grill.
It's a restaurant, but during the day, no one's there. And it was just this one old man at the bar. right? So I said to Alana, keep this in mind, this is like 2 PM. And the old man was like eating like a tuna sandwich or something. So I go to the bar and we're like, can we get, I think we got like martinis or something.
Yeah, we got drinks.
Because we just had an encounter with Michael Strahan. We were very overwhelmed.
We were on a high, yeah.
Which then Alana goes, Robyn. And I was like, what? She goes, that's Christopher Lloyd. The old man was Christopher Lloyd. So I was like, oh my God. So then I had, Alana's too respectful to like start bothering this man during lunch. Again, I lack that part of my brain which says leave this man alone. So I think like we started off with something like, oh, we're big fans of Clue or something like that. Because we didn't want to be basic and just like mention Back to the Future like everyone else, you know? Which then didn't he have a story about like that he just ran into someone from Clue?
So he had just, the TV show Psych, they had just done an episode that was like based on Clue, and so like him and Martin Mull and Leslie Ann Warren were on an episode, sort of being like a Clue episode on Psych.
Yeah,
like it just happened.
So he was like telling us how, oh, I just saw them, da 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 da. And so then I was like, oh, also I need you to know, big Taxi fan, big Taxi fan.
Right.
And so, and Alana's like, yeah, right. And so then he was like, oh, what was your favorite episode? And I was like, I know it's cliche and everyone probably says it, but the slow down episode.
Right.
Which then he goes, oh, you want to know an interesting story? And we're like, do we? You know? And he starts telling us how they didn't have an end to that episode. So like the whole slow down thing was not in the script. It was just that he was taking the test and they couldn't come up with the end of the episode, and they had a live audience. And the director goes, does anyone have any ideas how we should end this? And some lighting guy was like, well, what happens if he doesn't know what yellow light means and they try to tell him slow down and Christopher Lloyd doesn't get it? And they're like, all right, let's try it. And they did it, and it was the famous scene that, you know, was in this show.
Right.
Can you believe Christopher Lloyd told us this story?
He was just like telling us, and he was like, he was very happy to tell us, and like, of course, like Robyn's so comfortable talking to famous people or whatever, and I'm so not. So like, I'm sitting there, and like, he's being so generous and lovely. So Robyn's like totally good with it. I'm there, and I'm like, does he want to tell us the story?
But I thought he was like so into the conversation.
Oh, he was.
He did, because never at any point was there like him stop talking and then me like trying to add to the conversation.
Yes,
it was kind of like he was happy to like tell these stories. I think also because we weren't being super weird. I mean,
exactly.
like we kind of were just like, oh, blah, blah. Also, he was just like sitting, like he was in town because he was doing that play.
Caucasian chalk circle.
Yeah. And so he was just like having lunch by himself. He was probably like on break or whatever. So he kind of like, it wasn't like we were intruding on his lunch with someone else. He was by himself. We were just like clearly two people who are like into his, and the fact that we mentioned Clue and Taxi as the work that we wanted to talk about, you know.
Right. Exactly. He's like, are you sure you're not 58?
Yeah. We should have been like, no, we really are 58-year-old women. Like we didn't mention Back to the Future once or Modern Family. Like the two things that are like what he's most known for right now.
Yeah. And oh my God, wait, I actually forgot to tell you this. When I was doing the play, when we were doing the play the off-Broadway play, we would rehearse in the same studios next to Christopher Lloyd, who was doing a play also, okay?
Yeah.
And so I would walk by him in the hallway. And I wanted him to recognize me, Robyn, because I was like, he remembers me. No flicker, nothing. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to tell him.
The bar was dark. It was a dark bar, Alana. He definitely remembers you. Alana, thank you for being today's guest. You were so good. Guys, please give it up for my guest, Alana. Alana, where should people follow you on social media if they want to like keep up with like shows you're doing or things like that?
Sure. So I mean, I will be honest in that I don't do a ton of social media following stuff. I'm like a little bit of a weirdo like that way. I am on Twitter at IllyK, ILLYK, and my Instagram is Alana Lori, it's a letter K. If you want to follow the theater company, it's called KoyProductions.com, which is KOY. So So
And
I'll do
that's
full
where I
time.
really encourage, because that's where the next time she's doing plays or things like that, you can get information on and things like that. All right, let's give it up for our guest, Alana
Thank
Crash.
you, Robyn. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right. We've been friends for so long. I'm trying to think, like since I was 15 years old, I'm 35, so for 20 years. 20-year friendship. Is that not crazy? All right. Let's check in with Mama Schall. I realized I forgot to send her. I always usually send her the link before I go live, and I forgot to do that. So let's hope she was watching this whole time. Now, please welcome with check-in with Mama Schall, Mama Schall.
Hi. I haven't seen Alana in a long time.
Well, you saw her like 2 years. You saw her at the album recording.
Yeah, but when was that?
Wait, wasn't she also at my album release party?
There were so many people. I didn't.
Oh,
what
okay.
is it?
All right. Well, anyway,
I just said hello, and then what is it?
did you enjoy the interview?
Very much. It was very interesting.
Yeah. No, I was like excited because
stories.
it's so funny. I take for granted some of the cool things my friends do. Like here, she produced an off-Broadway show. I like never even thought to ask her like, what is it like getting the rights to these things? Like you just take it for granted. Like, oh, they put on a show. You don't like. There's all this business stuff that you forget about. I didn't get to talk to her. I need to have her back on. There's so many other things like. She did this whole big to like raise money for the theater company. Remember, there was the silent auction that we went to.
We bid on 2 things.
You won 2 things, right?
Yeah, well, we bid on it and we got it.
Okay, so Mama Schall, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, you look good. They want to know how's Papa Schall?
He's working so hard. Let me tell
Around the
you.
clock, right?
Yeah, all his clients, friends, relatives, everybody's calling in to figure out what they have to do.
Yeah,
and-
it's so funny. Both Frank and Jen, everyone's like, wait, but what is he doing? I'm like, well, with the stimulus package, different businesses require different things to get the loans and different paperwork, and they keep changing it, and each bank wants different things, and Congress changed this law so that you have to get in this, and so there's just a lot that your accountants are doing right now to make sure people and company.
Many of the news conferences, many of them say, that they concentrate so much on the medical part. But you also have to concentrate on the economic part also, because we have to bring this country back from shutdown.
Yeah. How's the puzzle coming along?
Really good. I can't believe it. What is it? It's really...
I know. Oh, let's tell everyone what we did last night.
Oh, okay. Well, let me first finish about the puzzle. I would say I did about 800 pieces out of the 1,000.
That's great, Deborah.
So that's 8/10 of the...
That's great. Okay, are we done with the puzzle talk?
Yes. Okay, so as people know, we will be celebrating Passover.
My mom desperately wants Passover, because I was like, Passover canceled. And she was like, no, it's not, right?
No.
God doesn't stop just because there's a plague.
The only thing that we can do is
be together
in the same room at the same time. So with the internet, there's different ways of doing it, and my children have said there's Zoom.
Yeah, so I talked my mom into how to download it on her phone. That was step 1. That was earlier this week. That took about a 6-hour combo to get this done.
Well,
okay.
You know what happens? She goes, okay, press this button. I go, that button's not on my phone. Then I have to FaceTime it like this, and then I have to hold
Okay. So then yesterday, my dad is doing church services on Facebook, so no reason not to have digital Passover. Exactly.
Right.
Well, except for the fact, me and my brothers try to get out of Passover every year, and we're like, okay, perfect. Finally, we have a reason not to do Passover. And my mother was like, no. So then yesterday, I was like, all right, now we actually have to teach her how to sign on. So first I was trying to help her, but like I was getting too frustrated because we'd been on for like an hour and she was like figuring out the video but not the audio. It was just a mess. So then I was like, Richie, can you please help? So then Richie came on, and so then Richie was talking her in. And then during this, my brother Michael texted me. He's like, oh, how have you been? I was like, actually, I'm Zooming with Mom right now. And Richie, he's like, oh, give me the link. I'll come join. So he came and joined. So then together, the three of us for about, I would say about 30, 40, 50 minutes. Tried to get my mom on, like, figure out how to use everything. And finally we did it. And we all got to hang out for a while, right?
And then Daddy was with me, so we all, both of us, and
Daddy was so not into it. Daddy would just come on and go, hi.
well, that's
And then
because
get back to work.
He kept on getting texts from all his different
I know.
clients.
Right now, anytime I want to talk to my dad because he's on his phone 24/7, I just sent him an email. So like I've been sending him emails just I love you. And sometimes he writes back like me too or nothing.
But now I'm trying to figure out how to at least make this safe and interesting.
So my dad is someone who like doesn't like to waste time. Mommy, I think you're going to fucking love this. First off, you guys don't know this, but all the cards you guys send me, I save every single one. Unless it's just like something from like what is it called? From like Amazon. But I've been someone who saves cards for the longest time. And when I went to sleepaway camp, like everyone loves getting mail, okay? Do you know where I'm getting at, Mom?
I have an idea.
And everyone loves getting mail. And I was in sleepaway camp for 6 weeks. And I told my parents, can you please just make sure you send lots of mail? I like getting mail. So my dad made sure that I received mail every single day. But my dad's busy. He doesn't have time to write. So he would just write, I heart you on like accounting paper. And that would be the whole thing. But I would be just so glad to get mail. Anyway, I was going through some of the letters the other day. This is back from when I went to camp when I was 13. On freaking accounting paper. Do you see, Mom? It says, Dear Robyn, I love you. Love, Dad. This has to be 13, like 20-something years ago. Isn't that crazy? And then, you know what else I found was cards from Grandpa Louie from when I was, same thing, from 1999. How old was I in 1999? So I was born in 84. So I was like 15. Do you want to hear them? We're out of time, but whatever. Bonus time. Okay, here we go. July 25th, 1999. This is from my Grandpa Louie, who passed away 2 years ago now. Okay. I hope you're enjoying camp. How is the weather? Here in Brooklyn, it's light in the daytime and dark at night. My mom will laugh at his jokes.
I did. I think that's funny.
Here are some of my observations. 1, it is faster to get involved in something than to get out of it. 2, every solution breeds new problems. 3, whenever you set out to do something, something else must be done first. 5, it always costs more than you think. 6, if you try to please everyone, someone will be disappointed. Robyn, if you go rowing and there is a hole in the boat and water is coming in, make another hole so the water can go out.
There's the bad joke.
How is the food? Did you meet some nice girls? We miss you. Broadway is waiting for you. Love, Lou, and Sue. All right, so that's one. And then here's the other. See, this is good advice from a grandpa. Those were good observations. All right. Dear Robyn, we miss you and we hope you are enjoying yourself. Here is some good advice. Don't speak unless you can improve the silence. Santa Claus has the right idea. Visit people only once a year. Consistency requires you to be as ignorant today as you were yesterday. 4, anyone who is popular is bound to be disliked. 5, anybody can win unless there happens to be a second entry. 6, it's easier to stay out than it is to get in. It's easier to get out. It's easier to stay out than to get out. So don't get involved. Here is a poem Susie wrote for you. I'm guessing Susie didn't write this. Louis liked to share credit. I have a feeling Susie did not write this. Louis was more the words. Okay. The camp I went to was French Woods, by the way. Okay, here's a poem Susie wrote for you. French Woods, rah, rah, rah. Our camp has the team. French Woods, boom, boom, boom. Our camp is on the beam. French Woods, cheer, cheer, cheer. French Woods, we want to come back next year. And then there actually is a note from Susie because it's a different handwriting. Hi, Robyn. When are we going to hear from you? See, she's already complaining. I'd like to receive a postcard from you. Something in Brooklyn. It has been raining all day. Has it been raining at camp? We miss you. Send all of our love. Love, Susie. Guys, from 1999. Hope that didn't bore you guys. But my point is, I have all the cards, all the letters that any of you have ever sent me.
That is so nice.
Yeah, so look at that. A little advice from a grandpa. All right. Well, anyway, thank you, Mom, for checking in with us. Sorry, I hijacked it, but it was still your husband and it was words from your husband and your father for check-in. I love you, Mommy.
Didn't I write anything?
No, you would write like one note a summer, but it would be long. Daddy would write every day, but it would just say, I love you. You would write every 2 or 3 weeks, but it'd be like a nice long letter.
I used to put notes like that in your lunch.
Yeah, I know. You used to make like, she'd put notes in our lunch, but it would be, what was it called? Like you'd put like you draw.
A rebus.
A rebus?
Rebus. That's pictures to spell out the
yeah, so like you'd have to figure it out. So it'd be like, she'd draw a picture of a B and then a plus, careful, like, or something, whatever, All right, thank you. Let's give it up for our Mama Schall. Do you want to say anything?
Yes, stay safe, do social distancing, and wash your hands.
And stay positive, right? And that you always say?
Oh, definitely. Keep smiling.
All right, I love you.
Keep watching Robyn because she makes you laugh.
Thanks, Mommy. All right, did you like the outfit?
Yes.
So
you
professional.
Look very pretty today.
Thanks, Mom. All right, you look pretty today. All right, love you.
Love you too. Love you guys.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank my guests today. I told you this was a jam-packed show. We had a new news correspondent. We had Alana. We had packages and shit. Thank you, Franklin, for my package. You're the best. I love you so much. Thank you to my guest, Alana Kresh. Thank you to Mama Schall. Thank you to you guys. So for the next 3 days, we're going to try different settings around the apartment to see what backdrop we like the most. And have a good day, everyone. That's Schall, folks.